With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reports 358 COVID-19 tests carried out since our last report on Thursday. 6 are positive for COVID-19. All 6 are travelers who tested positive following routine screening, and they'll remain in isolation until considered recovered. The number of people in isolation right now, either at a government facility or in their homes as required by the Medical Officer of Health, is 884. The first 9 months of 2020 saw the economy contract by 8.2%. According to the Economics and Statistics Office, as measured by gross domestic product in real terms, economic activity in the Cayman Islands is estimated to have contracted by 8.2% in the first 9 months of 2020. Indicators suggest that the contraction in economic activity for the first half of the year was broad-based, with significant declines recorded in hotels and restaurants, down 64.7%. Other services, 25.8%. Wholesale and resale trade down 12.4%, with transport, storage, and communication down 12.1%. The financing and insurance services sector, which remains the largest contributor to the GDP, decreased by an estimated 0.7% for the period. Economic activity for the 9 months was negatively impacted by the closure of Cayman's borders, which began in the latter half of March 2020 and led to general declines in stayover and cruise passenger arrivals. This contraction would have been larger if it were not for an increase in domestic business activity during the third quarter due to the removal of some of the restrictions. The central government recorded an overall surplus of CI $14.2 million in the first 9 months of the year. This resulted from an 11.5% reduction in revenue to $604.6 million and a 7.8% increase in expenditure to $590.4 million. Central government's outstanding debt fell anew and settled at $261.4 million as at September 2020, lower than the $404.6 million recorded September 2019. For more information on the Cayman Islands third quarter economic report, visit eso.ky. Police are investigating a spate of burglaries this month.
We have seen a reduction in our burglaries over the last year. But recently, specifically this month so far, we've had 8 burglary reports. I thought that it was important to come and remind persons of certain things that they could do to protect their homes and businesses.
Speaking on Radio Cayman's Business Buzz, Jody Ann Powery with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service offered up a few easy things you can do to help make sure that you're not the next burglary victim. Starting with the most basic thing, make sure your doors and windows are locked.
One of the things that's important is lighting. Make sure that you have adequate lighting both inside and outside of your premises, whether it is a home or a business. Motion sensor lights are definitely good deterrents as well because they can scare off anybody who's approaching your premises.
And specifically for businesses, make sure you have a plan in place.
For instance, their business would be robbed, or if their business is burglared, make sure that their staff is properly prepared to handle that type of situation. Specifically, ensure that you don't leave too much cash overnight in your business. Ensure that you have monies picked up regularly throughout the day. Also, make sure that you stagger the times that you do your pickups and drop-offs. That way, your routine is not studied by persons and easily targeted.
Security cameras are also a great tool, she says, for preventing and investigating burglaries. For more tips on how to keep your home or business safe, head to rcips.ky. Andre Ebanks, former Cayman Islands representative to the UK and Europe, officially declared his candidacy as an independent for West Bay South in the upcoming general election for the Cayman Islands. Mr. Ebanks says he is running because he believes the country's at a crossroads, citing division in many levels of society, where he says there should be collaboration and harmony. Mr. Ebanks says his campaign will focus on the issues that truly impact the everyday lives of Caymanians, like reducing the cost of living, improving living standards and employment for Caymanians, prioritizing gender equality, enhancing human services, and a fit-for-purpose education system. Cayman Finance issues a statement by CEO Jude Scott about the announcement this week from the Financial Action Task Force that it is increasing the monitoring of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Scott says the financial services industry appreciates the efforts made by the Cayman Islands government to successfully address 60 separate FATF recommended actions to strengthen the jurisdiction's anti-money laundering, legal, and regulatory regime. He says Cayman Finance and its members will continue to collaborate with government government to support its work to address the few remaining issues so the Cayman Islands can be removed from the increased monitoring at the earliest possible opportunity. On Wednesday, the doors of the Public Works Department Construction Trades Training Center officially opened. CIGTV's Donna Bush has more.
Attending the ribbon-cutting ceremony were various ministers of parliament and parliamentary secretaries, His Excellency the Governor, the Deputy Governor, and senior civil servants. Speaking at the center opening, the Honourable Minister responsible, Mr. Joseph Hugh, had this to say.
PWD has taken on the responsibility to promote the careers of young Caymanians, not only through mentorship of interns from high schools, but through proper technical training, which will lead to an internationally recognized certification. Many of you may recall that we have talked for years about setting up technical and vocational facilities to enable generations of Caymanians to get into the trades market, notably the lucrative construction trade.
Current apprentices were presented with leaving certificates and special awards, while one speaker for the evening, a former PWD Apprentice of the Year for 2017-2018, Zeb Bush, shared details of his experience while in training.
I personally find that the program was really beneficial because not only do you attend classes at SciFec, but you also get the hands-on experience, causing you to apply what you learn on paper to actual real-life situations. Upon completing the program, I was immediately employed with Arts in Godfrey. The program, to my knowledge, is one of the only diplomas offered in Ireland that is not only locally accredited, but is also internationally accredited.
And those in attendance were given a full tour of the facility immediately following.
That is CIGTV's Donna Bush. A young professional steps into a key leadership role at the Public Service Pensions Board. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego has more.
Leader Lawrence has been promoted to the role of Chief Operating Officer, COO, at the Public Service Pensions Board. She's been with the PSPB since 2008 in various roles and brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to this senior executive position. In her role, Ms. Lawrence has direct accountability for key operational decisions made by the authority, and she will provide strategic direction in the overall development and delivery of all aspects of the authority's finance, human resources, operations, information technology, and project management functions, supported by the Chief Human Resources Officer, the Chief Financial Officer, and the Chief Information and Project Management Officer. Commenting on her role, Ms. Lawrence says, "I am excited to accept this promotion within such an amazing organization, which has helped me grow my career." She adds, "I look forward to continuing to support the CEO as she continues to build the authority's brand as a leader in Cayman, both in pension administration and in developing Caymanians for promising careers." Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
And it is time for K-Fest 2021 anchor event, Red Sky at Night.
Because of COVID restrictions this year, we've had to separate the event into two sessions. So from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m., we have the matinee session. Okay. And then from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m., we have the nighttime session.
Melanie McField with Red Sky organizers, the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, tells Radio Cayman patrons will be treated tomorrow to live performances from musicians, dancers, actors, and storytellers, as well as displays of creative work by visual artists and artisans on the grounds of the Harquail Cultural Center.
So the matinee is an extension of what happens at night as well. The matinee focuses more on what's happening in the theaters. So we have a slew of talent happening in the Harquail Theatre as well as the small studio. We have movies that are going to be on display. We have opera singing. We have dancing. We have saxophone and flute playing. You know, there's quite a bit of entertainment in both of those theaters, as well as on the grounds. We have Steel Pan. We have Bonafide that's going to be there as well. So we're trying to pack as much entertainment in both sessions as possible.
And for those who are ready to shop, this year's Red Sky will be chock full of options.
Of course, we have our vendors throughout the grounds selling jewelry, art, other types of craft. We have the food vendors, of course, selling traditional local foods as well as international dishes. We also have a new introduction this year to Red Sky, which we're calling the Square. And the Square encompasses international countries, including Cayman, of course. We also have Indonesia, we have Jamaica, we have Guyana, and we have the Philippines. And that is a competition among countries.
Red Sky at Night is tomorrow at the Harquail Theatre. Log on to artscayman.org for more information. That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.